Okay, so coming back to this question we were doing yesterday with the mean ones, I don't have a nice algebraic answer because I don't think that it's particularly satisfying or intuitive, so it's not useful. However, I think that this question is actually quite easy to do by inspection, which is how I was trying to initially approach it. So I'll go through an approach which I think should be reasonably conclusive. So as we saying, a group of five numbers are such that their mean is 0 and their range is 20. What is the largest possible median of the five numbers? And if you remember when I did this yesterday, the first thing I did was write down five numbers that I thought could like sort of satisfy this. And what I did was I say, okay, well, let's suppose that I have sort of minus 15, 0, 5, 5, and 5. So if general, we have these five numbers and they have to just have these, the sum be equal to, the sum divided by 5 is equal to 0 and their range is 20, which essentially means their sum is 0, right? So this is true immediately because the sum is definitely 0 and the range is 20, right? The difference between the biggest and the smallest. And I think you can see that just by thinking about, oh, what's the biggest number I can have to be the median, right? Up here. Okay, so that immediately, this then has a median of 5, so that immediately rules out these bottom three. And also, we know that it can't be 20, because certainly if the median is 20, the smallest too big than that would have to be 20 as well if we wanted to sort of end up with that situation, which means we need these final two numbers, A and B, to have their sum be equal to minus 60, which is not possible for a number with a range of, so the whole thing would be, that would be minus 30 and something, yeah, that's certainly not going to be possible with the range being 20. So it can't be that. So then it's looking at these two. And I think immediately we can sort of see the pattern, which is that, say that I want 8 to be my median, right? I have to think of what's the set of numbers I can create that's going to be most beneficial, like to have 8 as the median, but within a range of 20 that has as low a mean as possible, or specifically with a mean of 0. So obviously I don't want to take anything higher than 8 on this side. I want to do it this way. And then in order to have this set of numbers have their mean be 0, I need to have two numbers here whose sum is equal to minus 24, right? Because they add to 24. And so that the range is equal to 20. So specifically, I could have minus 12 and minus 12, 8, 8, and 8. The sum of this is 0, so the mean is 0, and the range is 20. So 8 works, and so I immediately know it's 8. So there's no strict argument. You could prove, and they don't do a very good job of it, but they try to prove in the answers that this pattern where we have A plus 20, A plus 20, A plus 20 is like the maximum case that we could have, like the best case scenario, but they don't argue it particularly rigorously. But certainly 8 is possible just by inspection, and I think if you'd written this down, you could probably work this one out as well. So I think with this sort of question, rather than trying, because the algebra would take ages to go through this anyway, and then you'd have to justify it, rather just try cases, because it can only be 6, and it immediately can't be 4 of them. You could obviously have 6.5 as well, if you had, say 6.5, 6.5, 6.5, and then minus 13.5, so the range is equal to 20, and then minus 6.5 would work out, so the sum was 0. But that's not the minimum case. So yeah, 8 is the answer for that question. I think that's pretty